What's up, everyone? I'm James Baney, and I'm here to talk about The Mandalorian. So we just got The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 3, otherwise known as Chapter 19, and it was interesting. I kept thinking at certain points in this episode, why even have that thing at the beginning with The Mandalorian? Because you could have easily not saying that Chapter 18 didn't have a decent ending, because it did. It had a really good ending. But you could have almost tacked that on the end of the last episode and then just had this episode be completely this Dr. Pershing story. And then it wouldn't have ended up being like 57 minutes long. Now, there's two things I think immediately from that is probably they were looking to bookend, because once you get to the end, you kind of go back to Mandalorian and Bo-Katan and all that. So it sort of bookends the story. But also, they probably got a lot of feedback on, say, like Book of Boba Fett or other things that have happened that have sort of taken away, and they haven't included the title character at all. So they were trying to put that all together, but maybe this was originally scripted as like, this was supposed to be just this episode for this character, Dr. Pershing. So that's my thought, and then it just sort of ended up being like, well, if it's an hour, and there you go. I think this is one of those episodes that's going to go down as a fine episode in the context of the entire thing, but when you wake up in the morning and you're excited about a new Mandalorian episode, you get a little bit about, you know, the Mandalorian, Bo-Katan flying around. It's definitely some really cool stuff in those scenes. I love the action there. But then you get to this middle portion, which is by far the large majority of the episode, and it feels a little like, what are we doing? I'm trying to figure out the dynamic between this character that we're familiar with, who has been sort of like a villain, but is sort of like reluctant villain at the same time, and this new character, G68, or Elia Kane, as she's later known in the episode. And it's interesting because even when I get to the end of the episode, I'm still not sure where her loyalties are. I don't know what's going on with that character. And it's supposed to it's supposed to be that way throughout the episode, where you're not supposed to feel confident in that character. You're supposed to say, how is this all coming? But I kind of felt weird that Dr. Pershing wasn't continually asking, like, what's in it for you? Why are you doing this for me? Like, you know, he surely questions, like, why, you know, maybe we shouldn't be doing this, but it seemed, I don't know, a weird episode in my opinion. I did notice a few things, such as when he's talking about going through with the act, let's do it, you know what I mean? He puts out his uniform and all this, and his new uniform, by the way, not his old uniform, but they're still playing those the throat singing of the Empire and all this, and sort of like the Emperor, and all of this stuff. As you know, we've been watching Mandalorian for now 3 seasons, and it looks like every time he's involved and they talk about the cloning and all this, it seems like it's sort of leaning in the direction of like Snoke and the Emperor being redeemed and all this. So I'm kind of wondering if in the long run we're going to feel really good about this episode with Dr. Pershing and how all of this led to that and how it all connects and all this. But when you're in the moment, I do have to say this episode felt a little strange to me. I don't know exactly how I'm going to rate it, but I'm excited to talk tonight with John Hoey and Lacey Gillerin, because we're going to be doing the Mando Fan Show, as we always do, which is our live podcast where we're, taking in comments and we're discussing the whole episode, and we're going into all the spoilers, all the details. We're just going to hash it all out, if you will. And tonight we're actually going to have a guest. You may know her on Instagram as Jedi Manda. She's a prolific cosplayer, and we're excited to have her on the show. So she's going to be joining us tonight, and we're going to be talking all about Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 3, Chapter 19, and get excited because that is happening tonight at 8:30 Eastern. So it's happening right here on the channel, so come back. Maybe check now. I think the link is already up, so you can click the reminders and set a reminder and be back and come and hang out with us later tonight. But we're going to be discussing it in full, and hopefully I come around a little bit on this episode because I think there's some really good stuff, but we'll get into it later tonight. And until then, I guess that's been my minute. I'll see you later.